Welcome, race fans. We're back here tonight with ECR. Going to be turning some laps here at Bristol. This will be exciting racing at its best. Gen 6 series at Bristol, baby. That's what we all like to come out and see, Bristol Motor Speedway. So we are here at the Thunder Valley, and man, I'm telling you what, this is going to be an exciting show. We got a lot of great guys in here. And we have also have some company in the booth here with me, so just hang on a minute. We'll get to them and we'll give you a rundown here of everybody that's going to be in the points. So give me 1 second here. Luis Almaso, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, Rudy. Good evening.
Good evening. Good to have you in the booth with me tonight. Boy, this is going to be an exciting race here. Wondering if you could give us a rundown of the points here, possibly.
Yes, sir. ECR Cup Series standing for 2016. Our leader up until this point is the number 13 of Brian Wilderson. He has 2 wins this season. He's leading the points right now. He's one of the favorites to win tonight since he is the current race winner from last year. So he won here the last race we had in Bristol. He is followed by Joshua Witherspoon in the number 79. Ja has been having one great season up until this point with 3 top 5s. Justin Bland, who won our Martinsville race a couple weeks ago, he is in 3rd place. He is followed by Nelson Rivera in the number 77, our winner in Phoenix. Stephen Massey comes in 5th up until right now in the number 6 machine. He is followed by John Schweiker, last week's winner in Texas. He is in 6th. Anthony Titchener right now sits in 7th place, followed by Brendan Simmons, one of the most consistent drivers that we have on the field this year. Chuck Harrell shows up in 9th place, and we have a tie for the 10th place between Mr. Where Did He Come From at ECR, Chris Urquois in the number 42, and our Daytona 500 winner, AJ Scarborough. So that's our top 10 going into Bristol this year, Rudy.
Wow, exciting, man. I'm telling you what. Well, we're hearing reports here, and I was talking to you earlier, Luis, that you are in Chile, South America right now.
Yes, sir. I'm in location, so I'm reporting back via satellite and in special mission for ECR tonight.
Awesome. That's awesome, man. I'll tell you what. Looking at the field here tonight, this is going to be a pretty good show. I think a lot of folks were really excited about the outcome here with such a big field. The big field is going to make for exciting racing. It's going to be hard to pass. We were talking about that a little bit earlier about the race groove. The guys are, the race groove we all know is kind of like on the upper side of the track up against the wall. So whether they're going to be able to actually, okay, why won't this stay? There we go. Thank you, doggone thing. Whether they're going to be able to stay up there on that high side and run the high side, and it's going to be so hard to pass. They're going to have to make their move on new tires. When if we come off of a caution or the start of the race, you're going to have to make sure you do make that move early with them brand new tires to try to get a pass on the bottom. And but that's also going to be tricky too, because everybody's going to have new tires and everybody's going to want to run that bottom. So how do you think that's going to go, Luis?
Yeah, we were watching our Xfinity race we ran here last night, and it happened exactly like you said. The preferred line is that mid to top groove. No matter where you are, there's not a big difference. So if you can stay very high going into the turn, you can just let your car slide. And if you can maintain that big arch around the turn, you're not jamming the wheel too much, so you're not putting a lot of pressure on those front tires. That's going to be key. The driver that can maintain a clear line around the track without cutting it too much and don't burn those tires up, because we have to remember this is a concrete surface. So it's going to wear out the tires quite a bit. And one thing that we're going to have to take a look and be very careful about, really, is the restarts. The restarts on this track particularly, and we saw this not only last night, but on the Rio race that NASCAR had on Sunday. If you are restarting, you need to beg to the gods that you are restarting on the outside. Because whoever's running the outside, especially after a couple of laps, they're going to have a huge advantage because that's the preferred line. So you do not want to be starting on the inside, even if you have fresher tires, because it's going to make your life a lot difficult to trying to get speed on that bottom. There's just not enough grip, and those guys coming from the outside, they just carry too much speed.
Very true. Very true. What is the pit window here? Do you know what the pit window is for fuel?
Fuel wise, we're going to go very far. If they want to just go around on fuel, you can easily run fuel base over 100 laps. The problem is, I don't think anybody's going to try that because of the tires. We saw
Right.
during our practice races, we saw guys trying to push around 65, 75 laps at the most. But I don't think we're going to get to that. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have, especially early, a couple of big wrecks that might cut our field down to a certain number. Then we might see some good green flag runs. So I don't think we're going to see a full cycle of pit stops tonight.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And I hate to see that. We always hate to see that. The field get reduced down because of cautions, but it's going to happen. This is Bristol, and it's short track racing, and you got to take that into consideration when you're out here. Just knowing you're going to get damage. If there's a big one in front of you, there's nowhere to go to escape it. So with walls on both sides of you on the straightaways. So in the turns, it may be a different outcome of it. But looks like they're about done practicing here. So we're going to go ahead and step away real quick here and play our national anthem, and we'll be right back.
Guys.
And now, the most famous words in motorsports. Gentlemen, start your engine!
Okay, we're back, and thanks for joining us here tonight on MaxSpeedTV. Watching the ECR Gen 6 series tonight at Bristol. Going to be turning 300 laps. That's going to be a tough one, Luis.
Yeah, these guys have their work cut out for them tonight, Rudy. 300 laps in this track, not going to be easy. They're going to have to pace themselves, make sure that they have a clean car to fight for the win at the end.
Yeah, that's going to be the whole thing. Keeping the tires under it, keeping the fenders on it, and making sure that you got enough fuel to make it the whole way. So 0.516 miles around this place, so just a hair more than a half a mile. And I'm not sure if the weather's correct here or not, but I've got 72 degrees air temperature, 99 degrees track temperature, clear skies. only 20% humidity. And
Yep.
they do real world weather here. So whatever the race was on Sunday when they raced, that's what they raced today. Is that correct?
That is correct. We try to simulate the real conditions that the drivers on the real NASCAR Cup Series run. If they're running sunny, we're running sunny. If they postpone the race because of the rain, we make sure that we clean up the track, no rubber on the track. So when our drivers hit the track, they are facing the exact same conditions that the real guys are facing on Sunday. Just trying to keep it as close as possible to the real thing.
Yeah, one of the few leagues that I do know that do that. I know of some of them. They run the NASCAR schedule. May not run as many laps, that they run, but and they may run realistic weather, but realistic weather meaning what the weather is presently, not what they ran, in the race, the actual race on Sunday. So that's kind of it throws a little bit of a clinker into it for the guys, but this isn't what the weather is today. It's what it will, or what it was last Sunday, I should say.
Exactly. It becomes a little bit tricky because you can work on a setup during the week not knowing what the temperature is going to be. You can look at predictions. So it gives that proximity to what the actual engineers from every Cup team have to go through during the week. They need to look at the radar, need to look what the weather is supposed to be following the predictions, and they need to make choices. How are they going to set up the car? Go to the test. We have the possibility of having the simulated tracks. We'll simulate what's going to be. Go out there, prepare the car, and if it happens the way we expect, we should have a pretty good setup during come race day to work on it. If not, God help us, go in and try to work as much as you can during the race. It's a good thing that we have pretty good long races. It gives our drivers a chance. If you don't have that setup dialed in by the beginning of the race, you have a lot of time to try to work it during the race. Make sure your car is good for the end laps.
Well, I'm excited to get this going. I know a lot of people in chat, and we got a lot of people rooting, their fan favorites on out here tonight. It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to manage their tires, the different strategies that are going to have to come in play. A couple drivers to kind of keep an eye on. Anthony Thitchner, John Schweikert's been really good. AJ Scarborough, Brian Woldison, Scott Hunsinger. These guys have been extremely good in the last few weeks. Don't count out Michael Leiby. He's another good one to keep an eye on. Bratcher, Kinner, Michael Kinner, there's another one. You want to keep an eye on him. Josh Witherspoon's been running really well. Sean Medling, just to name a few drivers to keep an eye on. So pick your fan favorite, root them on in chat, and these guys will appreciate it. They do. If there's something you want me to give them a message or something, we can get that message to them if you want me to, and let them know that you are rooting them on. So please don't be afraid to send a message here in chat, and I will make sure they get it. Either I or Luis.
Yes, sir. I'm going to put 3 more names out there, Rudy. Guys that may surprise us during tonight's race. Justin Bland. Right now, he sits 3rd in qualifying. We're almost halfway down qualifying. He won our Martinsville race. So these half-a-mile tracks, different types of tracks, he runs pretty well. The same thing can be said for Douglas Haas on the 31. Doug won a couple races, run pretty well in these short tracks, so he's another guy to keep our eye out. And we have a new driver rejoining ECR tonight. He's making his return after almost a year off of our Cup Series. He'll be driving the number 08. His name is Thomas Lattimore. He's a veteran of ECR, has been with the league since the time that ECR was running back in console. So he's rejoining today, running a Ford, running his own team. So he's another guy that's going to be out there, a pretty strong driver, very consistent, love these types of races. So another guy joining the league, saw the races, saw the broadcast, was home, said, you know what, I need to go back. This thing is too much fun. I need to be part of those races.
Absolutely. I was doing some other stuff, and I don't know if you mentioned Nelson Rivera.
No, but that's another one. We can keep going. We can go
Oh
through the
yeah,
entire field. Everybody has a chance to win, man.
yeah, it's pretty awesome. Nathan Miller, I see, is in there. Doug Hess, another good one. Tony DeGennaro, he has been extremely good the latter, there's some recent races here. He's been finishing well, top 5, top 10 finishes almost every week consistently. So, and consistency is what brings on a champion, not wins. It's consistency. If you can stay in that top 5 finish in top 5, top 10 every single week without having any DNFs, you're going to be up there bidding for the championship. So this is going to be exciting. We got a lot of races left in the season here. And a lot of racing to go here tonight. 300 laps. Where are they going to be at next week, Luis?
We're going to be going to Richmond International Raceway. So for another different type of track, another short track that we can say. After that, Rudy, all bets are off because we're visiting Talladega after that. So,
boy.
Yeah, and then that big spring-summer stretch start to drive around. Michigan will be coming by. Kansas will be coming by. So we have a lot of good tracks, a lot of different styles of tracks coming up on the schedule. So if you guys are watching at home, want to see different types of races and guys running side by side, stay tuned. 9 o'clock, 8:40 with us here every Tuesday night. We're ready to roll. We have some pretty good races coming down the pipe the next couple of months.
Heck, I forgot I had my TV on yet. I had to shut that off. But yeah, just I have it on all the time in the room here. So it's like, man, I want to shut that doggone thing off. No sense in having that on. But yeah, I'm excited. Bristol always brings the best out of the drivers, and sometimes it brings the worst out of the drivers. It's going to be heated out there sometimes, and these guys are going to have to deal with it. So, all right, well, it looks like they're done qualifying. We're getting ready for the grid here, so let's get a rundown of where everybody will be starting. Starting on the pole, A.J. Scarborough with a 14.956. Congratulations to him for grabbing the pole. Anthony Thitchner will start second. Justin Bland in third. Douglas Hess fourth. Brian Wilderson starting fifth. Josh Witherspoon sixth. Thomas Lattimore seventh. John Schweikert eighth. Jay Adair ninth. And Stephen Massey starting 10th. Luis?
Michael Leibel was starting 11th. Rudy Nelson Rivera on his side starting 12th. Nicole Johnson starting 13th in the number 4 machine. She is followed by Kirk Quiss in 14th. Tony DeGennaro will be starting 15th. Josh Sheets starting 16th. Chris Ricoy in the number 42. He'll be starting 17th. Followed by Chris Steele in 18th place. Brandon Simmons in the number 32. He'll be starting 19th. And Blake Freeman will be starting in 20th place.
All right, Nathan Miller starting 21st. Scott Hunsinger, we'll be keeping an eye on him, back in 22nd place. Chuck Harrell in 23rd. Michael Guidry in 24th. Michael Kinner 25th. Sean Medling starting 26th. Ron Miller 27th. Mark Bratcher 28th. Matt Moritz in 29th. Ken Ron 30th. And Andrew Ackerman riding shotgun on the field here, starting 31st in the number 2. All right.
A pretty good group of guys. 31 drivers tonight, Rudy. I think we're going to see an awesome race.
I believe you're right. This is going to be good. I can assure you it's going to be good. I can't wait to get it started here. And we got Anthony. Anthony starting in a brand new paint job here tonight.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of new guys showing off some brand new paint schemes that they haven't run up until this point. Guys are really looking to put they're starting that point in the season, Rudy, where they think superstition's playing a role. So everything that they think might help them to get over that hump, get a win, they're going to try to do. So this week, apparently, they decided that the reason why they were not getting the wins are the paint scheme. So everybody trying for that little mojo from the paint scheme, see if that thing's going to help them out.
Well, lots of Lots of folks tuning in here tonight. Folks, make sure you give that link out to your friends and neighbors, your family, your aunts and uncles, grandparents, and kids, whatever you got. Send them that link and get them to tune in here, and make sure they do subscribe to the channel. Like I said here, not this Saturday night, but next Saturday night, MaxSpeedTV will be putting on a big event, paying out money to drivers and people in chat, just to thank all the subscribers on YouTube. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. But thanks for subscribing, and that'll be my way to thanking them. So AJ Scarborough ready to take the green flag here and get these guys kicked off. Pace car about to head to pit road here in just a second. And we are ready for 300 hard laps for these guys.
And he's choosing the outside, Rudy. So we see the outside already paying dividends, starting the race on the outside.
Yes, sir. And pace car's in. And green, green, green. Here we go. Anthony Thitchner a little bit asleep at the wheel there, but wants to get himself paced in. Waiting for everything to catch up here. And it looks like Justin Bland will take it to the bottom there. But Doug Hess comes back on the outside, and he will retake third place. Josh Witherspoon moves into fifth, and AJ already putting about a half a second lead on Anthony Thitchner. These guys are moving out here, Luis.
Yeah, AJ got a pretty good jump right at the start of the green flag. Took advantage of the fact that he could pick whenever he wants to go. This is ECR, our restart box, so he took advantage of that thing. And just proving that that pole position was no fluke. He has a pretty good setup under that 5 machine.
And he does have a good one. Stephen Massey, I don't know if we mentioned him, but there's another great driver. That I'll tell you what, when it comes down to the end of the race here, Luis, you can count on Stephen Massey being up there challenging for this win. Brian Wilderson, another one. He had 2 races there a couple of weeks ago, back-to-back wins, and I think he wants to get back up here and maybe try another back-to-back win. Running in 7th place, Nelson Rivera. I was talking about him earlier in the race, as these guys are now starting to get spread out around the field a little bit here, but he is another one to keep an eye on. Thomas Lattimore and Jay Adair. That rounds out the top 10. And looks like we had a couple of non-starters here tonight, Luis. Matt Moritz and Michael Kinner.
Yeah, something might have happened to them. They decided not to grid, either because the setup was not the way that they wanted, or something happened outside of the track. We can never be 100% sure. And on top of that, Rudy, we actually had a couple of guys starting the race from the pits. One of them in particular being John Schweiker.
Yeah.
He's already a lap down. He's driving around in between Thomas Lattimore and Jay Adair on the track, but he is a lap down. Him and the 46 of Mark Bratcher, they decided to start the race on the pits, so they'll be fighting out of the digging themselves out of the hole right from the beginning of the race.
And, that's really not a bad strategy to have, Oh, by the way, Anthony Thitchner did take the lead. Sorry about that. We get to talking about these drivers, and he will lead his first lap of the race and gather up that bonus point. After AJ led the first 9 laps, Anthony takes over the lead in that brand new painted car. We got another one going a lap down there. That would be the 03 of Ken Ron. He stays down out of the way and lets the leaders go by.
Anthony had a pretty good race on our practice race that we normally have every Sunday night, trying to tune in the car. He was one of those guys that the moment our cars hit the track, he was fast from the get-go. And he was pretty fast during our last races here in Bristol. So he's a guy that we need to keep an eye out. As we see a couple of guys smoking on the track, as
Nicole.
Anthony is starting to put everybody down a lap. Something happened in the back of the pack that he didn't bring out a caution. But I don't know what happened, Rudy. We've got a couple of guys that got themselves injured right now.
Yeah, Nicole Johnson there, heavy smoke coming out of her car. She's heading for pit road to get that looked at. One of the few females you'll find in iRacing right there, folks. And I'm going to tell you what, that is one awesome driver, Nicole Johnson. I'll tell you, man, I root for her each and every week. She is one heck of a driver. Doug Hess in third.
Yeah.
We got some
I'm going to go
cars.
back here, Rudy, and try to find out what happened. And I'll let you know.
Yes, please do. Thank you. Doug Hess in third. Justin Bland back to fourth. Witherspoon still in fifth. We'll go back into field airways. Michael Guidry in 17th. Running about 9 seconds behind the leader, as a lot of guys are getting lapped here. Chuck Harrell, Blake Freeman, Ken Ron, a lot of guys are getting lapped. Another one, Chris Surcois, just getting passed up by the leader.
Yeah, we got word here of what happened, Rudy. We went back and looked at the replay. It was an incident between the number 10 of Blake Freeman and the number 73 of Sean Medling. They ended up touching going into turn number 3, hit the wall on the outside. And here in Bristol, when you have two cars collide in front of you, you pretty much have nowhere to go. Nicole Johnson was just coming right behind them. She ended up getting a piece of the number 10 of Blake. And that just collected both Chris Surcois and Chuck Harrow as well. So that's the reason why these guys are falling behind, having a little bit of damage on their car, but Nicole took the biggest hit of everybody. I believe her engine just gave out on the pit. They're going to try to fix it, but it looks like her night's pretty much done.
Well, we got a good battle going on here between Stephen Massey and Josh Witherspoon, and Stephen Massey does complete the pass on Witherspoon and goes into the top 5. Now Witherspoon coming back on the bottom. This is getting to be interesting. This is Bristol racing right here at its best. I'm telling you, I love it. And Witherspoon finally gives into it. Wilderson now wanting to get up there. Hopefully Witherspoon can get regrouped here as he gets them tires cooled off after trying to make that challenge back on Stephen Massey. But we've still got some lap cars here. Chuck Harrell into the mix of things.
Yeah, Chuck got a leg out of that hit, but his car doesn't seem to be that bad. He's following along the leaders pretty well. And Rudy, we're starting to see a little bit of that tire wear play out. We see guys that are, especially you saw it with Joshua trying to dive to the bottom, wearing out those front tires, and the guys that are keeping up the top are being able to carve away their way around the top of the track. They're keeping those tires a little bit cooler, and they're able to drive off the turn, especially with a lot more speed than those guys running a little bit lower lanes.
Well, Justin Bland now is closing up on Stephen Massey. Excuse me, I rephrase that now. Stephen Massey did get by Justin Bland, goes into the top 4. He can't let them guys get out there too awful far because he's already 3.7 seconds and closing. Boy, he's closing up fast here. I think the leader, Anthony, there had to check up a little bit. They got some lap down cars down on the bottom of the track here. Might have put the scares into them a little bit. That would have been Andrew Ackerman. It looks like he may have been into the wall with some pretty heavy damage. And it looks like he's trying to get caught back up here. He's getting back up to speed now. So another one that's lapped down. So we've got quite a few of them a lap down. Mark Bratchard, another one taking his car behind the wall. We're down to 28 drivers with one sitting on pit road. Nicole Johnson trying to see if she can't get that car fixed up to get it back out there. Tough break for her.
Yeah, we're going to have to do something. We're going to have to hire a witch doctor, something to come in and find out what is the thing that is keeping Nicole with such bad luck every week. Something needs to seem to find her on the track no matter where she's running. She's trying qualifying up front, starting on the back, starting a lap down. Something seemed to find her on the track that's pretty much destroying all the hard work that she's putting up during the week. And she's been fighting. She's fast. She's consistent. Just her luck. I'm pretty sure, Rudy, the moment that her luck changes, she's going to win multiple races in a row. I'm pretty sure.
Right. I agree. Because she's a real world race car driver. She drives real race cars.
Absolutely.
And so she has the experience, and for her to get out there and, like you say, get tangled up into something each and every week, Yeah, you need to bring in a voodoo doctor or something and get that taken care of. Need to put a little voodoo on her or something there to make sure it's not going to keep happening to her, because, yeah, it's brutal for her. Well, Anthony Fitchner coming up on lots of lap traffic here. Let's ride along with him real quick, and we'll see how things are going with him. Lots of lap traffic just ahead of him. He's got to deal with it now. This is giving AJ Scarborough a little bit of a chance here to kind of reel him in. AJ
Anthony
now
right
1.2 seconds back. Oh, you're all right.
Yeah, Anthony has right now a second, 1.2 seconds ahead of AJ. And AJ seems to be the only guy who's been able to hang around with Anthony, because everybody else from Stephen Massey down, they're already more than 3.5 seconds behind our leader right now in the number 87. Anthony's just putting on a show, just going car after car, putting them a lap down.
Well, I do like the JAWS graphics. That is amazing. I love that. That's yours, ain't it, Luis? JAWS graphics?
Yeah. Yes, sir. That was a special paint that Anthony had as a while ago. And we thought for a long time that we were not going to be able to pull that off to create the visual effect that he wanted to make it look like that. So after a long time that we were trying, we finally hit it the way that he wanted. And he said, I'm gonna store this thing here for a special race. And he just decided, you know what? Bristol is just the place to do it. It's going to look awesome on that track. And he decided to run it. So far, it's bringing him luck.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, he's that lap traffic has played a little bit in the role there of AJ catching up. He did click off another 10th. Well, he's back and forth there. He picks it up and then loses it. So, but Stephen Massey now into third as he gets around Doug Hess. Doug Hess goes back to fourth. Pretty much everybody just riding right now. We've got 19 cars left on the lead lap right now. Ron Miller, last one on the lead lap. In the Silver Bullet, Coors Light Silver Bullet. Nice looking car. Brandon Simmons just ahead of him in 18th position. AJ starting to reel Anthony in now, down to less than a second there. He's got the Miller Genuine Draft car hooked up and trying to pass up some of these other cars as he goes around the number 42 there of Chris Serkois. Chris with heavy damage on that car. Looks like he's been into the inside wall and the outside wall there, Luis.
Yeah, he took, when he got hit in the same incident that got Nicole early on, he took a pretty good beating on the outside, and trying to avoid it, he ended up getting shoveled to the inside wall. Kept the car going straight, but took a beating on both sides. At least he's been running. The car is running, keeping him on the track.
Yep.
So depending on how everything plays out, he can pit, take some time, fix, and try to get back into it.
Well, we got a couple of Michael Leiby fans that are watching Michael Leiby out here today in the Wrangler Jeans car. He is in 11th position, folks. Looking good. Doesn't have any damage on the car yet, and we're hoping he doesn't. But that's another one to keep your eye on right there. I know we got a few fans in chat that were rooting Michael Leiby on. So there you go. We'll keep you updated on Michael Leiby. And we're already taking lap 50 here, Luis. So, boy, they're clicking them down pretty fast.
Yeah, like we talked about this in our production meeting before the race, that if everything went green, which is, I don't want to jinx the race, but I have to say it, which isn't common here in Bristol, laps were going to be clicking off pretty fast, because they're turning laps on the right now with very used tires. They're running around the 16-second mark. That is extremely fast. So laps are going by very, very fast.
Yeah, right now it looks like the fastest one on the track, the last lap there, was 16.172 by Josh Witherspoon. So that was a very fast lap. Now that lap there, Anthony Fitchner actually turned the fastest lap with a 16.229. So, yeah, these guys are really getting around here, and they seem to be staying pretty consistent. Lap traffic doesn't seem to be falling into too much of a play here. Everybody's given lots of room, so that's good. There's Thomas Lattimore there, old Leadfoot.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why AJ was able to cut down the lead that Anthony had built. Anthony took his time around the guys that were coming a lap down, almost giving them a chance to fight for their position. So he didn't want to risk anything. He was pretty conservative, trying to pick his spots, make sure that when he went by them, it was in the best position for both him and the other driver. So now that he went by and AJ is now having to fight with that same group of guys, Anthony has already built almost a 2-second lead up again.
Yes, he has. Yeah, it is actually 2.1 seconds back to Anthony, or to AJ, excuse me. So, boy, it's really doing good here. And then Stephen Massey is trying to close up on AJ. He's only about a second behind AJ right now. But you know what? I think it's about time to crank it up here, Luis. So give us a minute, and we'll crank it up here on the leader. How's that?
Oh yeah.
Very good, very good. He's, boy, I'll tell you what, he's still turning 16 threes. And right now is the fastest guy out there on the track. And he pulls away at another tenth from AJ Scarborough. That puts him 2.8 seconds back. So, boy, Anthony is hooked up and rocking and rolling tonight.
Yeah, I haven't seen Anthony make any mistakes tonight. He has been keeping that 87 machine on the rail, Rudy. So, and one thing to notice, we've seen Stephen Massey slowly cutting down to AJ's lead for second. Anthony and Stephen are teammates, so the garages probably have working on the cars very similar. That should explain why both guys are in the top three right now.
And Tony DeGennaro, the last one on the lead lap, has got a mirror full of the leader, Anthony Thitchner, right behind him. He is struggling to stay on this lead lap. But, you know, it's like I always say, you know, it doesn't matter if you're a lap down or not, because it's the position that counts for the points. So, you know, we got a lot of cars a lap down or more, and it really doesn't matter. Matt Moritz back out on the track, and Nicole Johnson.
Yes, sir. She made it back.
Yes,
the guys at the garage did a pretty good job of fixing that number 4 machine. She ended up losing a lot of ground, but she's back in the race. She's now 30-something laps back, but she's back on the track.
That's good. And Matt Moritz as well. He's back out there on the track. And it looks like his car may not be completely up to full speed here, but it looks good. Looks like they did a lot of heavy sheet metal work on that and got the car back into pretty good running condition here, Luis.
Yeah, you got to give it up to those guys, man. And in a race like this, in a track like Bristol, Rudy, you don't necessarily need to have your car 100%. You may have a fender off here, a fender off there. As long as your engine's not damaged and you can keep accelerating off the turns, you should be fine in a way. It's not going to affect you that much like it does in tracks like Auto Club or even a super speedway.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, there's a good battle going on here. Doug Hess and Josh Witherspoon that have been battling here for quite some time after Doug Hess got around Josh. Now Josh is taking a look like he wants to get around Doug Hess, but tires are just not permitting you to pass on that bottom right now because of the wear on them.
And he's bringing Thomas Lattimore in that 08 machine right with him.
Yes, he is.
Brian Wilderson in the number 13 is not that far off.
Witherspoon lost a position right there, though, to Thomas Lattimore from that high side, and that's just the tough luck of it right there. Wilderson's going to be coming by Witherspoon as well from that high side, because it just seems like the race groove has moved up the hill now with all that rubber that's being laid down. It's just too hard to find grip on the bottom.
Yeah, you end up just getting shuffled out of the way. Now Joshua finds a hole in between the 13 and the 42 coming right behind him. He dove in, trying to go by Doug Haas in the 31. Just the tires are just too wear at this point. And really, we said it that we were not going to see green flag pit stops. We're now sitting at number 73, lap 73. In a couple of laps, we might start to see a couple of guys diving into pits, trying to get fresh rubber and take advantage of that. They're now running a full second and a half slower than they were in the beginning of this race. So we might actually see a good couple of green flag runs.
And
pit stops.
Anthony Thitchner just had a moment there, almost got involved with some lap traffic and lost a few tenths to AJ, but he's got it back together there and saves it. Good job by them guys. Good racing. And yeah, if we're going to see pit stops here in the next few laps, how many guys do you think are going to try to do it on 2 pit stops, making 100 laps on a tank of fuel?
Well, they made it pretty good up until this point, lap 77. Like we said before, fuel-wise, they can go over 100 laps. So fuel is not going to be a problem. I believe that everybody's going to try a fuel strategy around 2 laps, or only refueling their car twice if they can have it, because that's just going to make their cars faster in the long run. Even if they can have new tires, I don't think they will refuel it just to make it go faster. So...
Well, AJ's 3.1 seconds back as Anthony is still struggling here with a lot of lap traffic. And he's making short order of some of them, but some of them are, they want to stay. They don't want to go a lap down, or they're already a lap down. They don't want to go 2 laps down. But he's making short order of them here as he comes up on, I believe that's the number 83 there of Josh Sheets. Josh Sheets running back in 19th position will go a lap down. Actually,
the next one,
actually 2 laps, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's 2 laps down. The next one on Anthony's side is the number 32 of Brendan. He's the last guy right now, running 15 on the lead lap.
Yes, sir, Brandon Simmons. So, the tires are really becoming an issue right now with these guys slowing up as much as they are. I mean, we were just talking about Anthony Thitchner, our leader, turning 16.2 second laps, and now he's down to 16.7 second laps. So he's already dropped a half a second. That one there is 16.8. So lots of lots of time is being dropped off. So, and there is John Schweiker. He is the first car lap down, as he's passed up all the other guys to be that lucky dog position, and he just passed the leader up to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, Rudy. Apparently, the one guy that was being able to match Anthony's pace in this extremely long green flag run that we're having was the number 1 of John Schweiker. But John started the race from the pit, so he was already a lap down.
Right.
He's the only guy that's been able to drive through this group of guys at the same speed that Anthony did. And Anthony just saw, you know what, you're not fighting with me, you're a lap down, I'll get you the lane, you can drive by, I have plenty of room. But that put John back on the lead lap, so if we do end up having a yellow, he's back on the lead lap, so watch out.
Yeah, definitely. I don't want to count him out at all. He's actually pulling away from Anthony right now as we speak. So he could be up here. Now what he's looking for is cars to pass. He'll be hunting down Brandon Simmons, which is about a second and a half ahead of him. And he'll be hunting him down for that position. So we have seen a couple of pit stops, but guys way back in the field, laps down. But other than that, everybody has stayed out so far in this race.
And Rudy, if we go back down in the field, Thomas Lattimore is now running second. He passed AJ Scarborough. So did Brian Wilderson. They're running second and third. And two other guys, they're driving their way through the field. The number 77 of Nelson Rivera, he's up to fifth. And the 52 off Scott Hunsinger, he's now up to seventh place, driving by a couple of the guys.
Yeah, he's coming up on the inside of Douglas Hess right now. And boy, Doug had a moment there, got into the wall, and Scott Hunsinger drove right on by him on the bottom. So there's pretty much racing going on everywhere around the track right now, and most of it's because some guys managed their tires and some guys didn't. Anthony Thitchner on pit road for the first
time. On pit road, lap 91.
So definitely not going to try to make it on 2 pit stops because he wouldn't be able to make it. So early pit stop for him. That'll give Thomas Lattimore the lead, and Thomas will collect a bonus point. 4-tire change, full tank of Sunoco fuel for Anthony Thitchner, and he's away.
Yeah, another car that did Rudy just a lap before Anthony was the number 6 off Stephen Massey. He's also made his pit stop, and he's back on the track.
So we're seeing the guys, they're taking their time, but they're struggling with them old tires like that. And, it's probably a good thing that he did come to pit road right then. Tires were just probably gone. I mean, if John Schweikert drove by him that easily, it's time to go, Well, that put
another guy that just made their pit stop is Mark Ratcher in the number 46. He's back on the track.
John Schweikert now goes into 13th, and he's still trying to click off a few tenths here, but I think he's going to be one of the guys that is going to try to make it on 2 pit stops because he's still out here 96 laps. He's got about another 4 laps, and I think we'll see him come to pit road. All right, Wilderson now 0.6 of a second as he gets around AJ Scarborough. And now he's chasing down Thomas Lattimore. He wants to get up there and lead 1 lap anyhow. Lattimore just ahead of him there in the 08. He got passed up by Sean Medling. Sean's already been on pit road, but Sean is way back in 19th position right now.
This is when the things start to get a little bit dicey because more than half the field has already pitted and they have fresh tires, and they're going back on the track where guys are running over 2.5 seconds, depending on who you are, slower than their fastest laps on fresh tires.
Yep.
So the closing rate is going to be extremely faster than they are used to. This is where we might end up seeing a couple of guys getting together if they're not cautioned. We saw a little bit before Anthony Thitchner just driving very close to Joshua Witherspoon and a bunch of other guys, almost a 3-wide situation. So not the situation where you want to be. You find yourself if you were leading just a couple of laps back.
Well, the thing of it is, these guys, the longer they stay out there, it looks like Brian Wilderson may be coming to pit road. Yes, he breaks off, gives up that second place and says, I've had enough. I got my past 100 laps. I can make it on 2 pit stops. He breaks off, comes to pit road here, and it looks like, overshot his pit there a little bit and had to back up. Right side's going on, and left side's going on, full of fuel, and he's out of there with them 4 Mr. Feelgoods. And Nelson Rivera takes over the lead.
Rudy, when Brian pitted, he brought with him the number 1, John Schweikert, that brought with him the 08 of Thomas Lattimore. So both guys on pit road. Another driver that just finished his pit service was the 22 of Tony DeGennaro. He's back on the lead lap. That leaves us with Nelson Rivera, Scott Hunsinger, Doug Hess, Kurt Quiz, Nathan Miller, and Michael Leiby, together with Brendan Simmons without pitting. So those are the drivers that are still on the track on the same tires that they started the race.
That is correct, yes. And Doug Hess now collects a bonus point for leading the lap. And he's got to be thinking about coming to pit road here pretty quick. I mean, wow, man, 107 laps, and the longer he stays out there, them guys with them new tires are just going to eat him for lunch here. And that's what they're hoping, because they all want to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, Rudy, Nelson Rivera, and Scott Hilsinger both completed their pit stops. They're back on the track right now.
Very good. Well, Josh Witherspoon, Stephen Massey get by, and they're back on the lead lap. So more guys. Brian Wilderson just drove by the leader. He's back on the tail end of the lead lap. And Doug Hess is still out there running 109 laps. Wow. Him, Kurt Quist, Nathan Miller, and Michael Leiby.
And talk about a different strategy. If we have a caution right now, they're going to pin a lot of drivers down one lap.
Yes, sir. Exactly. Leiby in fourth place. Anthony Thitchner with them new tires chasing these guys down. And I'll tell you what, he is clicking the tents off like crazy. I mean, he's running 15.8 second laps to Doug Hess's 16.9. So he's over a second a lap faster. Witherspoon, another one. He comes off of pit road. He will be in 6th. Stephen Massey, 7th. And Brian Wilderson, 8th. But we're still waiting to see when Doug Hess, Nathan Miller, Kurt Quist, and Michael Leiby come to pit road. These guys are still out here after 113 laps.
Rudy, Kurt Quist running third. He just hit the wall on consecutive laps on that outside. So his tires must be screaming for some fresh rubber, but he's refusing to, and he's about to lose his position to Anthony Thitchner coming by on fresh tires.
Yes, sir, and he does. Anthony Thitchner now on the new tires does retake third position, only 1.2 seconds behind the leader, make that 1 second, and I'll tell you what, he's running into one heck of a traffic jam right ahead of him now.
I think this is the worst traffic jam Bristol has ever seen here at ECR. I've never seen this many cars riding too close to each other.
Anthony almost had a moment there when he almost got into the back of the number 32 of Brandon Simmons, but good save for him. And he drives right on by, and Anthony Thitchner goes back into the lead with them new tires. And we've still got them 4 guys out there that have not pitted yet. Interesting. A very interesting strategy.
Oh, we had a caution.
Oh, yep. There it is. Oh, AJ into it. Oh, that collected quite a few of them. Let's go back and take a look and see what happened to AJ here. Like that. There we go.
Yeah, he was right in front of him. He tucked up, and just everybody coming behind had no time.
Yeah, there was a little bump there. A couple drivers got together, and then Chris Serkois, and it looks like the number 46 of Mark Bratcher, they get together. So, and then when AJ tries to avoid that, he gets tapped here by the number 22 of Tony DeGennaro, which collects the number 13 of Brian Wilderson. Or no, I'm sorry, that's the 73 of Sean Medling. My bad.
Yeah, the whole thing really started way, way ahead of the 46 of Bratcher, with Doug Hess and Nathan Miller, 2 of our drivers that were still on the track with used tires. They were just way too slower than everybody else. And it was just one of those situations where coming off the turn, Bratcher had nowhere to go. They were just too slow in front of him. He ended up touching, and everybody that was coming behind was just a victim of a situation. So was not AJ's fault, was not Tony DeGennaro's fault. It was just bad timing, bad place to be. in a situation where we called it. Depending on what happened on the track, guys in fresh tires, the closing rate was just too fast.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what happened because Nathan Miller had a run on Doug Hess right there and was going to pass him, but at the last second decided he couldn't. And when he checked up, that kind of there was one heck of a traffic jam behind him, and that's what started it all. So you are correct. Well, everybody pitting here, but the leader gonna stay out. He was just on pit road a short time ago, but gosh, I would have thought he would have come to pit road and got new tires. But we probably won't get to interview any of the drivers after looking at the replay and everything. It's just too short of a time to talk to any drivers on this short track, Luis.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Anthony didn't pit before while we were looking at the replay, Rudy. He might have.
No, I'm showing he didn't.
Oh,
I'm showing he's only been on pit road once today, and that was earlier. Yep.
So he might trust that setup quite a bit because being the one guy, he pitted around lap 85, so he has a pretty good number of laps on those tires already, and he was pushing the envelope trying to go by lap traffic. Mm-hmm. So this might be the first break-in strategy that we see, the first difference between guys that were running up front. Let's see how he's going to hold up with these guys. Now everybody behind him, Doug Hess, Joshua Witherspoon, Brian Wilderson, Stephen Massey, and Nathan Miller, all in fresh tires coming right behind him.
Well, the lights are out. We're going back green, and Anthony will start on the outside, Doug Hess on the inside. And a lot of these guys back here have got fresh tires, so I'm just kind of curious as to how long Anthony's going to be able to hold these guys off. He's got, what, about 35 laps on them tires?
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, he gets a good start here. Green flag is out, and here we go. Brian Wilderson got a great run on that outside. And I'm kind of looking for Brian Wilderson to get right up there and challenge Anthony Thitchner because he's got 4 fresh tires. This is going to be interesting to see how this is going to work out. Witherspoon, 4th place. He's got Stephen Massey on the bottom. And boy, they did catch a lot of people a lap down, I'll tell you.
Yeah, we're now running with only 8 drivers on the lead lap. The first guy a lap down is Jay Adair, the number 43. He is in 9th place.
Yeah, he wants to stay ahead of the leader here as best he can to try to, so he don't go another lap down. That's his goal, I think, right now. He's behind the leader, and here goes Brian Wilderson bidding for the lead on that bottom. Thitchner up on the high with a little older tires, but that's where the grip's at. Wilderson's going to have to make this quick, or he's just going to grind the rubber right off of them tires.
And that dispute up in front, Rudy, is bringing everybody together. So now we have almost a 6-7 car pack running almost door to door, bumper to bumper.
Yes, sir. And look at Doug Hess. They've got Wilderson trapped on that bottom. Wilderson should have came up when he had a chance and got into the race groove, but did not. And here comes Doug Hess to his outside, and we can see that the outside line is working very good right now. And Doug reels in Anthony Thitchner really faster, closed up on his tail. And this is turning into a race now. Oh, he got into the wall. Witherspoon trying to make something happen. I know they almost touch. Whoa.
Yeah, a little bit a while ago, Rudy, Brian Wilderson on that bottom lane, he almost went sideways into turns 1 and 2, trying to keep that car on the bottom.
Oh, we got one spinning.
Someone goes around.
Missed who that was. Doug Hess.
That was Douglas Hess in the 31.
And he's already on pit road. Let's go look real quick, because that does bring the caution out. Let's look at it real quick here and see what happened to him. I think he just got loose on his own. Him and Josh Witherspoon came real close to getting together there. And when he goes into the turn, I don't believe anybody tapped him or anything. It looks like I think he just come out of the turn here, and it just broke loose on him right there. He tried to cut it down or something.
Yeah, he just came out of the turn with a lot of momentum, just pushing that gas way too much.
Yeah.
His back, the right rear tires just spun out. He had nowhere to control that car, though. Just came out too fast to that inside wall.
Well, he's on pit road. That does bring the caution out. Our leader on pit road now. Everybody's taking advantage of that. That's going to leave Nathan Miller and Brian Wilderson out there, and they will, looks like Nathan Miller will be our leader. Anthony finally getting off pit road, but Nathan Miller will be our leader in the number 88. I don't know, something happened there. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that's something happened. But Brian Wilderson will be scored as the leader now. I ain't quite sure what happened there with Nathan. I guess he pitted. I would have thought he wanted to stay out and collect a bonus point there or something, but he didn't. And he comes to pit road. So that Nathan Miller, Jay Adair on pit road, Michael Leiby on pit road. He's back in 14th. Michael Guidry, his pit road is still a flurry of activity down there. Lots of people stuffing as much fuel in that car as they can get and putting 4 fresh Mr. Feelgoods on there.
Yeah, Nathan's going to have to explain to us what happened after that thing.
Yeah.
Because he just stopped on the track, let everybody by, race control, didn't issue any penalties. So I don't know what happened. And all of a sudden, he just pitted right after that thing. So we'll never know.
So Brian Wilderson collects a bonus point. Let's see. So we got a few guys that are going to get back on the lead lap. Schweikert, Lattimore, Huntsinger, Rivera, and Ron Miller. So we'll have 13 cars back on the lead lap when we get ready to go green.
Yeah, that was a pretty good caution for all those 5 guys. They were a lap down. They were trapped after that pit stop cycle. So that was a pretty good break for those guys, being able to pit and still come back on the lead lap.
Well, this is pretty awesome. Only 2 cautions. 2 cautions in 137 laps. That's amazing. That's almost unheard of here at Bristol, I'm telling you. I've never heard of it. That's a brand new one on me.
And Rudy, we're just going to have a couple more guys now back on the lead lap because we have 4 or 5 drivers that took the wave around.
Yep.
So that number of drivers back on the lead lap might increase by 3. We had 3 guys a lap down. Michael Leib in the 55, Tony DeGennaro in the 22, and Brendan Simmons in the 32. They all took the wave around, should rejoin the pack back on the lead lap.
All right, well, here we go. Green, green, green. Wilson on the throttle. And Thitchner taking advantage of that high line. Got a great run on Witherspoon. Stephen Massey, Justin Bland side by side. Oh, Massey had a minute there. Boy, I'll tell you, that was real close. If he would have stayed in the gas, he would have taken out Justin Bland. But good save by Stephen Massey.
Just a small checkup, trying to maintain the car going straight. That was all the time Justin needed just to blow by him on the outside.
Well, it's a good thing that he did check up because that could have been bad. That would have been really bad, and it would have been right in front of a lot of traffic. There would have been a lot of people got damage on that. So, but now we got a good battle going on up front here. Anthony Thitchner looking to try to get around Brian Wilderson. They're both running the high line, and it's going to be tough to pass, I can tell you that.
And now the situation is in reverse. Now Anthony with fresh tires. Not sure if Brian pitted this last caution.
I think he
now
did.
The 87 with a little bit of advantage, or at least having the same situation. And we knew that Anthony is extremely fast on new tires. He opened up a big lead when we started the race, so we might see that 87 getting the pass on the 13.
Yeah, he does. Well, I'll tell you what happened was Brian Wilderson only took 2 tires on that pit stop, and he did it just for track position.
Yeah, that will do it.
So,
that will do it.
Yep. But they've got a pretty good lead here on the rest of the group. Bland now 1.6 seconds back, and Stephen Massey had that moment there just a few minutes ago, is back 2.2 seconds.
And it was a pretty veteran move by Brian, knowing that, you know what, the 87 just have 4 more tires. Let him go. I'll be here in second. I got what I wanted. Just let him go. A lot of racing left to do.
And we ain't even been running an hour yet, and we're almost at the halfway mark. Isn't that something?
Keep it going, boys.
That's
keep it
right.
Going. This is going to end up fast.
That's right. Keep her going. I really thought I was expecting probably close to a 3-hour race here, but boy, they're chopping it down quick.
Ready to give you an idea of a benchmark. Our Xfinity race last night, we had around an hour and 50 minutes of racing. And we had 220 laps. So 80 fewer laps than we're having tonight, but cars a little bit slower.
Right.
But at this rate, we're going to see that time being obliterated by these guys running the Cup cars.
Yes, sir. Well, Stephen Massey there got into the outside wall, just a slight tap, kind of using the wall there to steady the car up a little. I see a lot of guys doing that here at Bristol. You can use the wall to your advantage just by, letting the back end kind of tap it a little bit there, and it'll straighten that car right up. As long as it doesn't slow up your progress, it works good.
Yeah, that's one thing that our race controllers are looking for, Rudy. This is the one thing that our drivers were told that they should not try to take advantage of, is what we call wall riding here at Bristol, where you can just let your car touch the wall, not that much, not that heavy. You're not going to get a lot of damage, but you can just flat foot your way out of the turn. You gain a lot of speed. So our race controllers are looking at that. So if anybody just start to take a lot of advantage of that particular thing, you can touch, you can do it a couple times, but if you do it in a constant basis, our race control has been told to penalize a couple of guys with a black flag.
Okay, well, he does come up on Brian Wilderson pretty quick here. And remember, Brian only took 2 new tires. I don't know if they were rights or lefts. I would imagine rights, but don't know. And he's already 2.3 seconds behind our leader, Anthony Thitchner. And just to let everybody know, Anthony has led 111 laps right now. Amazing.
I think it's safe to say if you want to win this race, you're going to have to go by the 87, Rudy.
I think so. Well, we got a few more that have exited the race room there. That would be Andrew Ackerman and Sean Medling. A little bit of an update here on a few drivers. Nicole Johnson is up to 24th position, but she's 32 laps down. We do have a few guys on pit road. AJ Scarborough, Michael Guidry, Douglas Hess, and Chris Urquois still on pit road.
And we still have a lot of laps left, Rudy, almost 140 laps left. So depending on how long the repairs take, these guys may still rejoin the track, and they might actually gain a couple positions depending on what happened on the track.
Well, again, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. This is the ECR League, the Gen 6 Series. You guys ran the Xfinity race last night, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Xfinity race last night, and tonight is the Gen 6 Series. So they ran here last night, 220 laps. Tonight they're turning 300. Wow, that's a lot of racing in 2 days.
Yeah, we had guys pulling double duty. Most of the field is pulling double duty, so pretty sure they're going to be sick of running laps around Bristol for a while after this one.
Well, Ron Miller, last one on the lead lap, 14.2 seconds behind the leader, but he's not that far ahead of the leader. About a second and a half. ahead of the leader right now. The leader is coming around pretty quick here. He's got a lap down car. That would be the number 22 of Tony DeGennaro. Tony back in 15th place, a couple laps down. I was trying.
Right now, we only have one driver, one lap back, Rudy. That's Brendan Simmons in the 32. So if we have a caution right now, he would be the lucky dog.
Right. Well, I was going to give you an update here on Kurt Quest. He was running back there a ways and was up into the front again on this restart, or the last restart, excuse me. And now he's back in 8th. John Schweikert, which started on pit road, is in 7th position, 7.8 seconds back. So he's about a half a lap, and we have a caution. That would be the number 3 of Chuck Harrell. Spinning around. Looks like he just got into the wall there. I'm watching here. He comes out of the turn, and not sure what happened there.
Rudy, I think the same thing happened to Chuck that happened with Doug Hess earlier. The only difference is when Doug spun around, he hit the inside wall first. Chuck tried to correct it, and just the car snapped to the outside, so he went to the outside. He ended up, I'm pretty sure, he tapped the number 13 of Brian trying to go through. Not sure if that thing damaged the number 13. We need to keep an eye on to see if...
Yeah, I see very, very little damage on the side of Brian Wilderson's car. It was just kind of like a swipe across the side, but it took the whole front clip off of Harrell's car. I mean, it just annihilated the front end of that. Well, we've got a lot of guys on pit road. Get up here live again. Ron Miller coming to pit road. He is actually our leader right now, but Anthony Thitchner does retake the lead after he comes off of pit road. And we're just a little past halfway here, folks, so lots of racing to go. We're coming down to 130 to go here in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, Rudy, I think this is the moment that if you are on the lead lap, you pit, you take 4 tires, try to make a couple of adjustments, looking for that final 100 laps where things are going to get crazy. You pretty know, at this point, you already know what your car's doing. You know how the track's behaving. So you should have a pretty good idea what you need to do in order to make that car work better. So I think we're going to start to see guys that were falling back, just letting laps get by. So if they have something, I think we're going to see a couple of guys trying to move their way back to the front.
Well, I was going to try to talk to somebody here. Looking. Real quick here. Scott Hunsinger, you got a copy?
Yeah, 10-4.
Well, Scott, how's the car running here tonight? You've been keeping it out of trouble?
Yeah, for the most part, trying to keep it clean. Car's great. It's pretty good long run set. So,
well, we've seen some pretty long runs here tonight. Now you're going to have to make one more pit stop, I believe. Correct?
I think we can make it from here.
Oh, you can? Okay. Well, that's going to be a ticket here, but managing them tires is going to be the other ticket. So I'm going to let you go because I know you guys are getting ready to get the one to go here. But good luck out there, Scott. We'll be watching to see if you can get up there and challenge them guys for that lead.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right. They are on the one to go here. Lights are out on the pace car, about ready to go green again.
Scott will be restarting 8th, right by side with Thomas Lattimore. They're both back on the lead lap and almost back to the front.
Well, Stephen Massey will be restarting second here right along Anthony Thitchner, and I see a little bit of damage on Stephen Massey's car there. Pace car's in, and boy, they went right on cue together. Massey,
talk about teamwork.
Yeah, Massey and Thitchner. That was great.
I was just about to say, Rudy, that I was surprised that Anthony was restarting on the outside, having a teammate on the bottom. because when you have that, you can actually coordinate with your teammate, knowing that your teammate's on the bottom. The leader can actually take the bottom and move up as soon as they can. But they did a pretty good job of timing that restart. Pretty sure they were on the radio together, timed it out perfect, and they capped the first 2 spots.
Yes, sir. Brian Wilderson in third, Justin Bland fourth. Nathan Miller's got himself into the top 5 here, keeping the car clean. We had that minute there a while back there when we thought he was going to lead a lap, and whatever happened, I don't know, but he didn't lead one. And it looks like we may have lost somebody. Jay Adair? Did he receive throughput or something?
Yeah, for some reason, he just disconnected. I think his connection fell through. So all of a sudden, he's now showing up 1 lap back.
Oh, man, he's falling pretty heavy now. He's a couple laps. He's going back to 18th, about 3 laps down. Oh, man, tough break.
Yeah, by ECR rules, Rudy, if he rejoins the track, he will be given a wave around, get at least 1 lap back. So then it's up to him trying to make his way back. So hopefully he'll be able to rejoin the server in a couple of seconds, not lose a lot of time, but he's already falling more than 4 laps down. So
yes, sir. John Schweikert now in 8th. And he's dropping right now, but John's got a pretty good long run setup, I know, in that car. So we'll probably see him work his way, inches way, closer to the front. But I'll tell you what, chasing down Thitchner tonight, that's going to be a job. He is just on a rail out there. He has not made any mistakes. He's just clean. Oh, I heard some sheet metal crunching back there.
yeah, I'm looking here. Right now, all good. Green flag, no cautions.
Good deal. Well, Stephen Massey, with that damage on his car, is hanging pretty tough here with Anthony Thitchner. He's staying right with them pretty good.
Yeah, one driver that is falling down the pace, Rudy, and is now sitting in 11th, is the 79 of Joshua Witherspoon. He was running up front for most of the race. Something might have happened, or he is just playing strategy, trying to save those tires for a very long run. We'll have to see what happened.
Yeah, he could be thinking that this is going to go green the rest of the way, and if it does, he may be a contender here coming down to the end of it. He may be, he's in the top 10 right now. He might be looking at a top 5 easily.
Yeah, his car doesn't seem to have any damage, so whatever happened, it was either a little mistake on pit road or this is by design. So we'll keep an eye on that 79 for you.
And Nelson Rivera now 12th place, last one on the lead lap, running 7.3 seconds behind the leader. He does have some pretty heavy damage on the nose, but doesn't seem to be affecting it. It's this isn't, they don't have to worry about aerodynamics out here. All they got to worry about is making sure that car is drivable and you can steer it. That's the main thing. Make sure your toe's not knocked out, where it's going to wear the tires really easily, and just keeping the tires under. It's going to be his goal here tonight, to maybe try to get into the top 10.
Oh, he totally can. And Rudy, Anthony is already putting more cars a lap down. He already went by the 03 of Ken Ron. Now he went by the 55 of Michael Leiby.
Yeah, they were already a lap down, so that'll put them 2 laps down. And
and we have a caution.
Michael Leiby's got an awful lot of damage. Let's see where that caution is. Oh, Josh Witherspoon and Ron Miller get together. Looks like Josh might have just kind of like drove into the back of Ron Miller. We'll go back here and check it out here. Not sure if Ron had a different braking point or something here. Josh goes into the turn. Ron had a minute there and he tapped the wall. It looks like he might have backed out going into the turn. And Witherspoon was back on the throttle a little quicker and got into the back of him. So Witherspoon will bring out the caution there on Ron Miller. All right, well, Brian Wilderson will take over the lead. as it looks like pit road's going to be busy.
Yeah, we saw a couple of takers on Anthony Titchener, Stephen Massey. They pitted, but a lot of guys staying out, Rudy. Brian Wilderson, Justin Bland, Nathan Miller, they all staying out. They're now making their way on the pits. This is a little problem that we have in Bristol with the pit stalls being on both sides of the track. So we never actually know where they're pitting, when they're pitting.
Right.
So a lot of guys pitting on the other side of the pits.
Well, Ron Miller takes over the lead here, but he's coming to pit road, so he will not lead a lap. Stephen Massey going to stay out, though, and we'll see if he's going to stay out long enough to collect a bonus point here. Anthony
Stephen actually
right
pitted with Anthony. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, he had an extremely fast pit stop, 13.9 seconds to Anthony's 15 seconds. Big difference in pits. That's at 1.1 second faster.
And that was a 4-tire change, Rudy. That was not a 2-tire.
No.
Anything above 12 seconds is a 4-tire change. So great job by Stephen's crew just to give him in front of Anthony.
Yes, sir. Well, he does have that little bit of damage, but I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal. Looks like Michael Leiby stays out. He will get one of his laps back, running back in 15th position. So that'll only put him 2 laps down now. And you can bet he'll be chasing down Tony DeGennaro. Tony's with him just a couple laps down there. They'll be on the same lap together. So that'll be battling for the lucky dog position. And lights are out. We're going back racing. Massey will start on the outside. Titchener on the inside.
Let's see if they have the same jump as they did the last restart.
Pace cars in. And pretty much, yeah, a little bit better start that time by Massey. Schweiker making a bid here for third on Nelson Rivera, not able to do it. Nathan Miller right behind him. Let's ride along here with Nathan Miller for a minute. That looks like a lot of fun out there. You know, when you got a car that's hooked up as good as these guys are hooking up right now, that looks like a lot of fun.
In a track like this fast, with this amount of banking, there's no way this is not. They're having a blast.
Oh, yeah. Justin Bland gets around Nathan Miller. Nathan has to check up. He taps him in the rear. Wow. Oh, Bland into the wall. Wow.
They saved it. They're still going straight.
That could have been bad.
Now Brian gets loose on the bottom.
Meantime, Stephen Massey's still leading out here. Looking back on Anthony Titchener. Anthony, after leading 144 laps, nobody can beat that. He does clinch the title for the most laps led tonight.
And Rudy, if Steven's looking at his mirror, that Gene Bean silver machine's just getting awfully big on his rear view mirror.
Oh yeah, Massey just got into the wall there a little bit. I'll tell you what though, Titchener's having a tough time right now trying to figure out what he's going to do to get by Massey, because Massey's in that groove on the high side of the track, and it's just going to be so hard for him to pass him. And everybody out here on fresh tires.
And Rudy behind them, John Schweiker went around Nelson Rivera in the 77. So he now has moved up to third, starting all the way a lap down, moving his way to third position. Let's see if if he has anything for those front two guys. They are up at 2.5 seconds ahead of John Schweiker right now.
Yeah, I would say at the moment, he probably doesn't have anything. Oh, we have a caution. Oh, right there. Looks like the number 52. Scott Hunsinger involved in something there. Let's go back and see what happened to Hunsinger. I believe
Chuck Harrow is involved. Matt Moritz is involved.
Hunsinger got loose on his own. Coming out of turn 4. Spins it around sideways here right in front of traffic. And I believe he is going to collect some other drivers in that.
He did a pretty good job avoiding the wall in the first time. But the same thing that happened with Chuck earlier, that snap on the way back when you're trying to hold the car just got the better of him. He managed to keep it out of the wall, but he was just in the middle of the track. Tried to stop the car. The guys coming behind just couldn't do anything. They were just coming too fast.
Well, that puts John Schweikert out in the lead as everybody has pitted, and he's staying out. So he will come around here and lead his very first lap of the race. Take a look at it. Started 8th place tonight and running in the lead. We'll run down through the top 10 here for you. Brian Wodelson started 5th, led 11 laps, running in 2nd. Nelson Rivera started 12th, led a couple of laps, running in 3rd. Anthony Thitchner started 2nd tonight, has led 144 laps, running in 4th. Stephen Massey started 10th, led 15 laps, running in 5th. Nathan Miller started 21st on the field tonight and running in 6th. Justin Bland started 3rd, running in 7th. Thomas Lattimore started 7th, led 12 laps, running in 8th. Josh Witherspoon started 6th tonight, running in 9th. Oh, we just had somebody peel off there. Lattimore peels off, I believe it was. No, guess not. And Kurt Quist rounds out the field, or rounds out the top 10, started 14th and running in 10th.
Rudy, now the games begin with 93 laps to go. 3 cars up in front without pitting for at least 10 to 15 laps. They're going based on the long run. They hope that their car has a pretty long run setup. They're going to have to fight with those 2 guys flying behind, the 87 and the number 6 on fresh tires. So now we'll see who is playing their cards right, because this is going to be one hell of a restart. The laps are counting it down. We don't have a lot of time left. So if you want to make your move, this is where the games are going to begin.
Yeah, and you got to make the move early, on the new tires. These guys up front, like you said, the front 3, they're on older tires. Thitchner with new tires, and he's going to be restarting right behind Brian Wodelson, our leader. John Schweiker starting on the low side, and he will be the commander of this start. So we'll see how this is going to go, because these guys with older tires, and Thitchner with new ones, Massey, Miller, pace cars in, and Schweiker on the live pedal, and Brian Wodelson right along with him. Now Wodelson does have that upper line, and Schweiker needs to, there he goes, okay. Now Thitchner to the bottom. He's got the new tires, and he makes short order of Brian Wodelson, and now he's going to try to reel in John Schweiker real quick here and get by him.
And Rudy, we saw a little bit of strategy being played. I think John, knowing that Anthony was restarting on the outside, he didn't want to start on the outside and give the 87 that clean pass to follow him on the outside on the preferred line. So he's starting on the bottom, hoping that Anthony was going to have a tougher time going by Brian. But those fresh 4 tires on that 87, they're just too strong right now.
Yes, sir. easily passes up Schweikert. Took him a couple of laps. Schweikert's not going to just pull over and let him go, I can assure you. He wanted to make Anthony earn that, and he sure did in style. So Wilderson will go third. Nathan Miller getting around Lattimore. Goes into fourth. Lattimore fifth. Kurt Quist sixth. And Stephen Massey taking a look on the inside of Kurt Quist right now. And he's going to make that stick. And, man, I'm telling you what, he drove it in there.
Oh, sir, give me 4 fresh tires any day of the week now.
Oh, yeah. Now Justin Bland trying to do the same thing. Kurt Quist up against the wall there.
And Rudy, we saw how big of an advantage is restarting on the outside. Anthony was restarting on the outside. Steven was restarting on the inside. We just saw the difference that it makes when you get that big jump on the outside and you're able to just get back to speed. Anthony went from 4th to 1st in about 2 laps. Steven was caught in traffic, couldn't do anything.
We got one into the wall. Kurt
I think that's
Quist.
the number, 95 or Kurt Quist.
I think there was some contact there. We're going to find out here.
Him and Justin Bland, probably.
Yeah, Justin Bland was right behind him. And I'm thinking here Justin might have made a move here. Oh, he did. He just got a better run off the turn than Kurt Quist did, and he got into the back of Kurt. And I don't believe he did that on purpose. I think it was just purely he thought that he was going to be back in the throttle, and he wasn't. So, well, this is going to bring everybody to pit road.
Everybody's in, Rudy. John Schweiker, Anthony Thomas, Lattimore, Ron Miller, Stephen Massey, Brian Wilderson, Justin Bland, Joshua Witherspoon, Nathan Miller, everybody in.
All except for Ron Miller. Oh, wait a minute. No, he is in. How come? No, Ron Miller's out there.
No, he's staying out. Yeah, he's staying out.
Now, whether he's going to stay out long enough to collect that bonus point is another thought. Now, Stephen Massey. Looks like Stephen Massey might have did a fuel-only stop. Maybe took 2 tires. I don't know. But if he did, that was a very fast pit stop. 6.9 seconds.
Oh, those are 2 tires and fuel, probably.
Yep. And John Schweikert had a 13.7 second pit stop, 4 tires. Anthony Thitchner's 15.2 seconds. That's a way slower than Schweikert's. He gets out behind Schweikert. Now, that's going to make a different story between them two. Now they both have got fresh tires.
Yeah, and we need to take a look, Rudy, at the restart to see if Ron Miller stays out. Ron Miller and John Schweikert, they are teammates. Stephen Massey and Anthony Titchener, 2nd and 4th, they are teammates. So we might see here, depending on what happened, a little bit of gamesmanship to see who's going to restart where, trying to give a little bit of an advantage to your teammate who's coming behind. So I believe if Ron Miller stays out, he'll try to restart on the bottom to have John Schweikert restarting right behind him. Nope, no gamesmanship. He's starting on the outside.
Oh, boy.
No teammates, no rules.
Oh, boy. Well, it is coming down to it, and they don't want to give anybody an advantage, even though they're teammates. It's all bets are off right now. Whether you're teammates or not, it's all off. It's getting down to the closing laps here.
Yeah, but we need to take a look at Ron for that restart, the only guy up front in older tires. So let's see if he's going to be able to just restart clean and see what Stephen Massey and those fresh 2 tires on the bottom can do. This is not going to be good, Rudy. This is going to be exciting.
Yes, sir. All right, lights are out. We're ready to go racing here.
78 laps to go.
Pace car heads in. And we're back under green. Great start for Ron Miller, but Stephen Massey and John Schweikert making real quick order on that one. Stephen Massey back in the lead. Schweikert second. Anthony Thitchner getting around him. He goes into third. These guys brand new tires, but they let Ron Miller go backwards quick, didn't they?
Yeah, those four tires, those used tires that Ron Miller had, they were good for about half a lap.
Yep.
After that, everybody coming by.
Yep. Nathan Miller getting by. Justin Bland. Now Ron Miller back to 7th. And he's getting passed up by Josh Witherspoon. And Brian Wilderson coming along with him. Yeah, Ron's going backwards pretty quick, but he did it for track position and got bonus points involved in that as well. So, you know, you got to think about. Sometimes you got to think about the big picture, Luis. You know that, you know, you're battling for points, and every point is so valuable all season long. If you can do that every race, get that one bonus point, that means a lot. They add up at the end of the season.
Oh no, Ron's decision was perfect, especially if you think you don't have the car to fight for the win. His decision was perfect. He stayed out, collected the bonus point, made sure that he was in a good position, restarted with enough time to just let everybody by, kept his car clean, just doing what he needs to do, getting points so he can be there in the chase. If he gets the win, if not, make sure that he has enough points to be there by points.
Well, Thitchner trying to figure out how to get around John Schweikert right now. These guys all run a 1-2-3 up here. Have put about a second lead on Thomas Lattimore in 4th. So they're in a race all their own up here right now, Luis. And boy, I'll tell you what, this is going to be a heck of a battle. If this stays green the rest of the way, this is going to be interesting.
And that's a heavyweight fight, Rudy, for second place. And the one guy who is loving this is Stephen Massey on the number 6, because while Anthony and John are going blow by blow every corner, Stephen in those two tires is taking advantage, and he can run his line cleanly without having to worry about those guys.
Exactly.
As long as they keep fighting, he's going to be the guy gaining the most out of this.
Exactly, yes. That could have been a very, very good call by Stephen Massey on that right there. Track position is going to mean everything out here. And like you said, in that clean air, now once he gets into lap traffic here and he gets into the dirty air, I'm kind of wondering how much that's going to affect his speed with him only right side or only 2-tire changes. It's going to be interesting to see how this is going to play out.
And we'll need to see how aggressive he want to be, because we saw in that first very long green flag run that Anthony, who was leading at the time, he was extremely patient, letting the situation develop and making sure that he could pass in the right place.
Right.
Steven only has 64 laps to go. He doesn't have the luxury of waiting for the right spot, so he might need to be more aggressive, trying to get as much as he can, going by guys as fast as possible. That might not play out the right way. He might actually have to burn out those 2 tires faster than he wants to.
And we have another caution.
We have a caution.
Oh, Witherspoon going around. Looks like him and maybe Brian Wilderson got together. We're going to go back and check this out.
Yeah, we had Brian coming on the microphone here informing of something. Not sure if it was anything to do with that caution.
Okay, Witherspoon going into the turn here, and it looks like Wilderson just really drove it in there really hard and deep, and he got into the back of Witherspoon. But now Witherspoon didn't hit anything, which is really good. Don't look like anybody else got into him. He will lose a couple of positions, but I think he'll be all right. Pit road, lots of people on pit road. Thitchner. And Ron Miller again staying out. What? Did he stay out again? Yeah, no, he's coming to pit road now. Okay. Well, that's going to give the lead up to Nelson Rivera.
I think Ron had enough of that restart. I don't want to be in this mess. I got my point. I'm good.
Yep. But Nelson Rivera staying out, man. Go ahead.
When you can, take a look at the speeds of the pit stops. That's going to give us a good idea who took 2 tires, who took 4. I believe Stephen Massey once again only took 2 tires.
No, he took 4. 14.4 seconds.
Wow.
Schweikert, 14.8. Thomas Lattimore, 13.4. Nathan Miller, 13.9. Anthony Thitchner, 15.2. I think Anthony needs to fire that pit crew of his and hire some new guys. They are
I don't
slow.
want to be in that meeting after the race. He's coming in first, getting out of the pits third for every time.
I know it, man. Well, that's going to give the lead back up to Stephen Massey now as Nelson Rivera comes to pit road. So it's going to be Stephen Massey, John Schweikert, Thomas Lattimore, Nathan Miller, and Anthony Thitchner, your top 5.
Well, Rudy, that cushion that Stephen Massey got from the fight between Anthony and John, that's now gone. John now has clean track to go after that number 6, and they might actually get a couple of seconds because Anthony's going to be coming like the devil possessed from 5th place, trying to go by both Thomas and Nathan. So they may get a little bit of a cushion from that 87 trying to go by those guys. So now we're going to see everybody on the same strategy, same tires, 58 laps to go. This is where you needed to have your car. So now everybody there, everybody who is on the lead lap, the first 10 guys, they're all fighting for the win.
Well, good news. Michael Leiby back on the lead lap. So we'll see him back in contention here. He'll be in 13th position. Because he was battling with Tony DeGennaro, but Tony dropped out about 30 laps ago. And that let Michael Leiby roll into the 13th position, but he got the wave by on that as we're about to go back green here. Stephen Massey on the throttle. And we have a green flag. Schweikert right in second. Here comes Nathan Miller to the high side. Boy, he got a great run there and had to lift. Anthony Thitchner on the bottom of Thomas Lattimore. He knows he's got to make that move early on them new tires or he's going to have to ride on the high side.
And he's putting everything on the line. He's being extremely aggressive on that bottom, almost putting the car sideways, trying to make the pass.
And he is really struggling with it right now. He needs to maybe let a little bit of heat build up in him now because he didn't make it, right out of the gate. Because, like I said, you got to do it like in the first couple of laps or you might as well hang it up. You're just going to ride for a while and let the chips fall where they may. Or right now, Massey with a 0.3 of a second lead over John Schweikert. And just to let everybody know, John Schweikert started on pit road, was a lap down at the beginning of the race after starting on pit road. So look how far he's come up through this field, Luis.
Yeah, we knew that John had a pretty good long run setup. He was been fighting that thing on the short runs. I think he found something in the middle of the race after that first green flag, and he's out there. And Rudy, look at what we were talking about. Anthony clearly faster than both Thomas and Nathan Miller. He just can't complete the pass because every time that he goes side by side with the 0-8, Thomas just get a big run on the outside and goes by Thitchner again.
Yeah, he sure does. Yeah, that's, wow. Anthony, I don't know what he's going to have to do to try to get around Lattimore. I think if he could clear Lattimore, then, he'd probably be able to maybe reel in Nathan Miller and get by Nathan Miller. But getting by Lattimore could be trouble. I don't know. That could be an issue.
Yeah, he's diving extremely deep into the turns, trying to make that bottom work, make it stick, hoping that Thomas just makes a little bit of a mistake, hits the wall, and give him that little bit of an opening. He just needs to be careful not to drive it in too deep and get too close, because one small mistake here, one small touch, you're going to turn the car in front of you a little bit. This is no there's absolutely no chance that they can hold the car if they do get touched.
That's correct. Well, they're still battling back there. In the meantime, Massey has got about a half a second lead on Schweikert now. So, boy, I'm telling you, Massey with them amazing pit stops tonight. I mean, just lightning fast pit crew. He needs to give them all a raise. And Anthony needs to fire all his pit crew and get new ones.
Oh, we're going to see Anthony being the team owner and they being teammates. Maybe we'll see a good old shuffle around the pit stalls. You guys come with me, you go with him. Let's see if that's going to even it out.
That's right. Well, Schweikert had a moment there, almost got sideways coming out of the turn and manages to drive out of it. But I'll tell you what, he's got company now. Nathan Miller has closed up on them guys, and he is coming. That's a driver right there. I know Nathan Miller quite well, and I'll tell you what, he is a very, very patient driver. He lets you come to him. And, you know, if he's got a good long run setup underneath this car, I look for him to be up there challenging those guys for that. You know, he hasn't led any laps tonight. That doesn't mean anything, though. It's that W. That big W at the end of the race, that's what counts.
Yeah, when we got word that I was not going to be able to race for a while, we were looking for someone that could just come in and keep the speed going on that 88 team. It took us a couple of days, and all of a sudden, everybody came together at the same time. We got the driver. He's here in the league. He's just not running Cup. Why not give him a call? So John, being the team owner, gave Nathan a call. They were talking a couple of days before. Nathan was looking for the opportunity now that his work schedule lets him run on Tuesday nights. So it was the perfect marriage for someone extremely fast, very reliable, that we know that can drive pretty much everything, just to step up and drive that 88 for a couple of weeks for us. Hopefully we're going to be able to keep him, if not in that 88, in one of the machines for the remaining of the season, because it will be a shame to lose a caliber of a driver like Nathan, proving that he belongs to your running top three.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've known Nathan for quite some time, and I'll tell you what, he can drive the heck out of trucks, I can tell you that. He's very good at it. Well, let's go back here and see. We got a few guys that have re-entered the race. Sean Medling back out on the track in 23rd position, but he's many laps down, 94 laps down. Doug Hess back out on the track, 96 laps down. Chris Surcoy, 105 laps down, and AJ Scarborough re-entering the race. Still got a little damage on the car, not quite up to full speed, but 27th position for AJ.
And Rudy, as we were talking, Anthony went by Thomas Lattimore. He's now up to 4th, and he just made the first mistake that he made all the race during this race, trying to get as much as he can. He tapped the outside wall on his right front, so now he has a little bit of right front damage. But he's trying like a man possessed, get close to Nathan Miller, but he's 2.6 seconds back off Stephen Massey, 1.4 behind the number 88.
Yeah, I'm looking at the damage here on Anthony's car. It's not extremely bad, but it is bad. The only thing I'd be concerned about is if it knocked the toe out on that car to wear that right front tire, and he could struggle with that in the late runnings.
Yeah, I don't think it was a severe damage. I think it was just the sheet metal on the front, on the side of the roof of the hood of the car. I don't think anything bad happened to it because he's still running pretty fast laps. My question is, if he ended up burning his tires while he was trying to go by Thomas, if he just burned everything that he had, that advantage on the setup, on the tires that he had, if he just burned it way too much trying to go by.
Well, he's kind of closing up on Nathan Miller here now, 1.2 seconds behind him, but he's got Michael Leiby in between them. We'll see how quick he gets by Michael Leiby. Looks like Michael's going to give him the room on the outside, and I think he may have just got into the outside wall again there with the back of his car. So he could be having some problems, or he's just really driving it hard right now.
Yeah, he's closing the distance between him and Steven, so he's really pushing the envelope, trying to go as fast as he can.
Well, he's only got a few more laps to do it in. 28 to go when we cross the line here. And Massey out there.
It will be interesting, Rudy, if this thing goes green, because now we see John Schweiker really side by side with Stephen Massey trying to go for the win.
And Massey got that high line, and Schweiker, he came down to this before, and he just kind of kept riding there until he finally caught the guy off guard or something, or whoever it was. I don't remember now. It was earlier in the race. But we'll see if he can do this again. Just got to be patient and hit the line just perfectly. Get a good run off of the turn, and he should be able to make that pass on Stephen Massey.
And the one thing that may hurt John's quest on this thing, because they're coming by a lot of lap cars, so that bottom lane that John's going to have to use will be filled with the guys going lap down. So he may not have as much room as he wants to try to go by Steven.
Well, Nathan Miller now joining in on the battle here. This is going to be interesting. I think we ought to, one more time while these guys are battling, I think we ought to crank it up one more time.
Do it. Let's go.
All right. Well, Schweiker's taking a look there again. Oh, they almost touch. Schweiker's really pushing it right now. He's trying to get to that lead there at the 20 to go, and he knows 20 laps is all he's got to do to make this move.
And Rudy, he needs to make up his mind fast, because look behind them. Less than a second. Anthony Titchener is there.
Yep. And I think that's what Schweiker's counting on right now, because he's pushing it harder than he's drove all race, and there he finally gets the lead away from Stephen Massey. And I'll tell you what, Massey can't be ashamed of his finish here today at all, because he's led 72 laps, so he's had a good car, and now Nathan Miller drops to the bottom. He's looking.
We still have 17 laps. This race is not over.
Oh, no. A lot could happen up here between these four. Titchener, he's got a bird's eye view of what's going on, a front row seat, whatever you want to call it, and he's watching all this. Massey does go back to third as Nathan Miller goes into second. Now Titchener trying to get around Stephen Massey, and I think Massey's just going to let him go. Massey, I think, burn up his tires there.
Oh, for sure. I think he just saw Anthony was faster. They might have get on the radio. Anthony asked, Stephen said, go get him, because you're faster than I am.
And let's see, we'll see what on this lap right here. Schweikert, after he crosses the line, a 16.129 to Anthony Titchener's, 15.265 to Anthony's 15.168. So Anthony is clearly a little faster. Couldn't have been right. It said 15. I think it was supposed to be 16. I know this thing's not real accurate.
Yeah, the one thing, Rudy, that may come between Anthony and a possible challenge to John Schweiker is the 88 of Nathan Miller right between them. So one more battle between trying for the lead, but don't look now. The 88 is actually closing in on John Schweiker. So Nathan might have plans of his own to fight for that lead. He kept his car pretty clean up until now.
Yeah, now Schweiker does have a little damage on his car. I don't believe it's affecting the speed of it any. It's just he's got to try to maintain ahead of Nathan Miller right now. And I think Anthony's just, he's giving it all he's got right now, but it's not going to be enough to reel those guys in and get by him. Not with 10 to go.
And really, from what it looks like, looking at the 88 and the 1, looks like Nathan has a better run coming out of the turns. So he maybe studied John's line, trying to figure out where he can push the envelope, see where he can come out faster without lap traffic in front of it.
Yeah, he backs off again here to cool them tires off because he took a look there and there was some lap traffic in the way and he thought better of it, said no, I'll just wait. I'll reel him back in again, and he's going to have to work it hard, and I'm telling you what, it's not going to be easy to get by John Schweigert. He comes up on the inside and more lap traffic in the windshield as Chris Cirquois is going to be up there. And Schweikert is just too hard to get by right now. And I'm kind of thinking Nathan's just thinking to himself, maybe I ought to just ride right here, take second. But he's not going to give up.
Well, he has 4 laps to do it, Rudy, and he got a bunch of lappers coming in front of them. If he's going to make his move, he needs to make it right now.
Yes, he's got to. He's taking another look there.
There he goes. I think he's going to drop to the bottom at any moment. If not on this turn, the very next one. He gets a pretty good run coming out of the turn. I think that's where he's going to do it.
He's going to drive it in there hard. They touch, but he takes the lead for the first time today and leads his very first lap of the race. Here goes Schweikert back on the inside. And I don't know if Schweigert's got anything to get by him or not, but we're going to find out here because they got 3 laps to decide this. Make that 2 laps. I just don't think Schweigert's got anything left from Nathan Miller right now. Nathan, I'll tell you what, that guy right there can save tires like you don't even realize.
I think they're going to come by, open the last lap, Rudy.
Nathan Miller, John Schweikert, Anthony Thitchner, 1, 2, 3. Anthony give it up and crossing the line first. Nathan Miller for ECR Gen 6 Series. Man, what a finish.
What a run.
That was amazing. That was amazing, I got to say.
Well, Rudy, I asked Nathan to be fast on that 88. But ask him not to be that fast, otherwise I might lose my ride. You know what? I think I just got myself in trouble, man.
Nah, they're not going to do that to you. No. Well, good job by Nathan. We'll get him up here in a minute. I'm going to give these guys a minute, Luis. 300 laps here without a break. I think they need just a couple minutes to regroup. So, folks, let's give them that minute. But, Luis, let's talk about that race a little bit, man. I'm telling you what a finish, huh? With Nathan Miller coming back with 4 laps to go and passing John Schweikert to take that lead, and Schweikert tried his heart out to get by him. So what did you think of that finish?
Well, Nathan was in the perfect position for this closing laps. He just, the same thing that we saw a little bit earlier with Anthony fighting to get by the lap cars, to get by Thomas Latimer to rejoin that fight. I think the same thing happened between John and Steven. John just gave it a little bit too much to trying to go by Steven. That opened up the door. That was the little bit of a difference that Nathan needed to save a little bit of his tires, ran the perfect race, kept his car clean, just a small little damage, and he made the move at the exact time. He had cars come in front of him. He had no room. He was either on that lap or he would be stuck in second. So perfect timing, perfect strategy. That's what you get. You get the perfect ending. Awesome win by Nathan Miller in his first ever ECR Cup Series race. So Man, this is going to be a tough one to top it.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations to him.
Well, let's get a word in with, let's start out with third place. We'll start out with Anthony. We'll get him down here. You want to talk to Anthony?
Sure.
Okay, there you go.
Hey, Anthony, Louise here in the broadcast booth. Got a copy, bud?
Yes, sir.
Man, you were the gas off the field for most of the race. Pretty sure you had the faster car all night long. Only one thing made you not get that W. I think we're going to have to redo that pit strategy, that pit group that you have. I think that was the little bit of a monkey wrench that they throw your way. But you race up front all night, started up front in second place, led most laps, and you were right there at the end. So just give us a little bit of a run through how your race was, how your car was handling, and the last couple of laps.
Oh, you called it, man. I didn't have a 13-second pit stop all race. I lost positions every single time that we pit. So I was real frustrated with the pit crew. We're going to put them some overtime next week, make sure they're on top of their game. But just a great field here tonight, man. I learned a few things on the restarts there that definitely helped out. Once I feel like once we got out front, we could take off from the field. It was just getting around guys. It took a while to get around Thomas there, so lost a lot of ground. Tried to make it up there at the end, and just used up the tires. Them guys were so fast, and even racing each other, just couldn't catch them with what was left there. So fun race. I enjoyed the green flag pit stops. Just real proud of it, man. Happy with the new paint scheme with the Ghost, thanks to you, and I'm happy with the third, man. Can't complain.
Well, you ran a pretty good race last week, another strong race tonight, so things are pointing up. Pretty sure that W is coming. It's just cleaning up a couple of things. So congratulations again on this third place finish. Awesome race tonight. We'll give you the floor to give your thanks, your shout out to your pits, your crew, your sponsors, everybody who you want. The floor is yours, sir. Our third place finisher, number 87, our league president, Anthony Titchener. Our third place finish. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, man. I'd like to thank you guys. Thank you for stepping in, and thank you, Rudy. MaxSpeedTV does a hell of a job of going back, watching these broadcasts. Thank you, Jim Beam, Ghost. Appreciate them getting on the car this week. Haters Make Us Famous. Stephen Massey put on a hell of a set this week. He stepped his game up this week to help us out, and just two strong HMUF cars. It's 3 or 4 weeks in a row with top fives. I feel like Junior, the win's coming, man. Just keep running good. It's just something we're missing, man. And thanks to all the guys. Thanks, John, Nathan, all the guys, all the lap cars who raced us real clean, man. Everybody was just real clean tonight. I had a lot of fun.
Damn, for our brother. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week in Richmond. Rudy, if you want to talk to our second place finisher, John Schweiker, please take it away.
All right, John Schweiker, you got a copy?
I got you, brother.
Whoa, what a fantastic finish that was. Did you expect Nathan to have anything for you in them closing laps? Because I'm telling you what, that was one heck of a job. Let's go back a little ways. I wanted to talk about the beginning of the race first. You start on pit road. You qualified well. You start on pit road. You come up through the field, and you were patient, John, just like you always are. You got back on the lead lap, marched up through the field, and got into the lead. And, man, I'm telling you what, you were right in the mix of some of the best drivers that I know in iRacing right here. Anthony Titchener, Nathan Miller, Stephen Massey. These guys were phenomenal tonight. And so tell me about your racing out there in those closing laps.
Well, the start was when I went to grid right off the bat, like my whole screen and everything was fuzzy, so I had to like back out and come back in. So I missed the start, had to go on pit road. And when I come out, I think I come out where like 10th or 11th what it was, and I just drove as hard as I possibly could because I knew the 87 and 6 from practice, they were fast. I knew they'd be putting people laps down right away, and I had to get back in position, and I just kept getting just right there, and one guy would get the lucky dog, and then one time I thought for sure I was going to get it, and then Anthony stayed out. I was like, come on, man. So we finally got it, man, and we just kept tweaking on this thing a little bit, and man, I raced Steve in there at the end so hard. I mean, I'm sweating my brains out, and I just burned it up on that bottom side trying to get past him, and And Nathan, he's running the same thing I am, minus some camber adjustments, and he just saved it. He was able to sit there and watch that and just save that little bit and then get me there at the end. It was fun, man. I'm so glad bringing him on board, and we're going to figure out some way to keep him here on Spartan Racing.
Oh, I agree. We were talking about that at the end there, and Nathan, he's probably one of the better tire saver, tire conservationist. He is, man, I'm telling you what, he could conserve them tires and be there at the end, and that's exactly what he did. And I know, John, you were probably racing your heart out to try to stay ahead of him and burnt your tires up. But, man, that looked like a blast out there racing. The three of you were having a lot of fun, and that's what it's all about, John. Congratulations on second place. So is there anybody you want to thank or shout out to?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the 87 and 6. They've been fast here the past couple of weeks, and they're sure making it. Sometimes we feel like we're in the position to make it hard on everybody else, but man, they are sure turning up the heat, and they are fast, and it's really making us work hard to try and figure out what the hell to do. So I just wanted to do a big hats off to them. Thank the admins. Thank you guys. Thank all the drivers. This was a hell of a race. And if anybody's watching didn't think it is, don't watch anymore, because that was a hell of a race. We're sweating our asses off. Sorry about the language, man, but that's it.
That's the facts.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, I want to thank my team over at Spartan and the collision with Wild Child. We worked hard this week, and we were off a little bit, but we had some long run speed. Didn't have that short run speed, but man, thank them, and thank Luis. Thank you, Nathan. God, man, what a 1-2 for Spartan, and just that's awesome, man. I'm ready to go celebrate.
All right, well, go do it, brother, and congrats on second place. John Schweikert for second place here, folks. Luis, you got the winner?
Yes, sir. I think he's here. Nathan Miller, driver of the number 88 now in the ECR Cup Series. You got a copy, bud?
What's going on, buddy?
There you go. Well, we were talking before the race that you got that big break that you were looking for. You got your work schedule to lined up, so you're now free to run Cup on Tuesday nights here at MaxSpeedTV for ECR. Got the break. You said you just wanted to get to the finish. Boy, I don't want to see what you're going to do once you're really running for the win, because that was just a perfect, masterful race. You ran the entire time, kept your car clean, follow along with the pit strategy, was in the right place, the right position, and made the move at the exact perfect time. I don't think if you waited a longer lap, you were going to have that opening. So congratulations. Just walk us through, how was that first experience driving all the way from where you started in the 15th position,
21st,
I believe, 21st position, all the way to first? Please let us know what was going through. How was that race for the number 88 tonight?
Oh, man. Well, it ended awesome. So I know I'm supposed to do this at the end, but thank you for the opportunity to drive your car, and thank you to Spartan and John and everybody for setting this up in like 2 days' time. Man, just happy to be here. Yeah, so started in the back. Rudy knows me. I always try to stay out of trouble, and at a track where it's hard to avoid, I just try to let the field thin itself out. So I was absolutely shocked when we went 100 and something laps before the first caution. So that's why I ended up staying out as long as I could, because I knew if I pitted, I'd be laps down and I'd be fighting for that all night. So I just stayed out, and finally we got a caution. And then from there, it was just a matter of picking my way up real slowly but surely, because my pit stop, I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but my pit stall was second to last, and I drove through it 2 or 3 times tonight. So the fact that there were so few cars on the lead lap was really the only reason I was able to stay up front, because I screwed myself a couple times. And then it was just a matter of keeping the car clean. I had no X's until I tapped John there with two to go or whatever it was. Yeah, and I heard Rudy talking about it earlier, just taking care of my tires, taking care of my stuff. The whole night, I just kept telling myself, just race the track. I'm not racing for points here. I wasn't going to try to screw up anybody's night. It was my first race in the Cup with these guys, so impression is an important thing. So I was just racing the track, racing the setup, and just found myself in position towards the end. And he had to race Steve pretty hard there, and I was just able to sit back and relax. Well, maybe not relax. I'm pretty worn out, but sit back and watch them wear their stuff out. And then, and then, like you said, I didn't really plan on making that move, but I think he got tight and I got a run at the same time. So I just kind of had to dive it in there and hope that everything went okay.
Well, I believe you could not have asked for a better start. We talked before the race. I even told Rudy that I told you go fast, but don't go that fast. Otherwise, my job might be in trouble. Boy, you just put me in a very hot waters with the boss over there. But pretty sure if we can celebrate a win for that 88, I think everybody's happy. So congratulations again. Welcome to the Cup Series. It's gonna be a tough one to beat out. So pretty good start. We'll give you the floor. If you want to thank everybody, please, the floor is yours. Our winner tonight, Nathan Miller, driving the number 88 as a sub. Pretty sure we're going to see him in his own car in a little bit, driving the way they did tonight. So congratulations again. Welcome. Awesome win. The floor is yours, sir.
Thanks. I'm just happy to bring it home anywhere up in the top 10 for you. I really wanted to make you proud. So a win is amazing, man. I was jumping for joy. Thanks to Rudy for the broadcast. Thanks to Spartan Racing, John, for being so responsive. I hit him up and he was immediately there with an answer about if I could race tonight or not. Everybody else that was working with me tonight, from Spartan, Brian, Tony, Scott, Nelson, Mike, just thanks to everybody. And I got to thank Budweiser. Hang on.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations, Nathan, man. I'll tell you what, I was telling Luis there, well, coming down close to the end there, about 10 laps to go, I said, I've never met a guy that can conserve tires like Nathan Miller. And boy, you sure proved it here tonight. That just saving that little bit on them tires just makes so much better when it comes down to the end when everybody else has worn their stuff out. Luckily,
yeah, exactly.
It was just, luckily you got by John Schwaker. I mean, John probably wouldn't have got tight there. I don't believe you would have got by him. But you guys raced it hard. You raced it all the way to the end, and congrats, man. That was one heck of a win.
Thank you so much. And I do have to thank Anthony and the rest of the admins. I know they go through a lot, and I would imagine Bristol's probably the biggest headache of the season. So thanks to them. And then I think I heard John do it too, but I have to thank all the other guys on track. I mean, those last 60 laps flew by. I mean, all the lap cars saw us coming. They got low. I mean, there was not one, if he hadn't done this, I could have won kind of issue. It was just left up to the top 3 or 4 there to race it out. It was awesome, man. I had a blast.
All right. Nathan Miller, our winner there, folks. All right, let's run down through the results here real quick. Nathan Miller coming home the winner here tonight. Actually a rookie. First ever appearance here in ECR as a sub. But like Luis said, I think he's going to wind up with a full-time ride here. We're hoping. John Schwaker coming in second. Anthony Thitchner leading the most laps tonight with 151 laps. Wow, what a dominating performance. Comes in third. Stephen Massey, fourth. Thomas Lattimore, fifth. Josh Witherspoon. Wow, what a run for Josh tonight, coming in sixth place. Congrats to him, man. That's really awesome. Justin Bland in seventh, Ron Miller eighth, Nelson Rivera ninth, and Brandon Simmons 10th. Luis?
Well, Brian Wilderson's going to come home 11th after a late penalty. Scott Hunsinger bounced back after that crash to finish 12th. Michael Leiby is going to end up 13th. Chris Still finishing 14th. Ken Ron 15th. Matt Moritz 16th. Kirk Quest in the number 17. Tony DeGennaro 18th. Sean Medling 19th. And Doug Haas closing the race tonight in the 20th position.
All right, 21st goes to Chris Surquois. Josh Sheets, 22nd. Nicole Johnson bouncing back. Man, she did really good there, coming back and picked up a lot of positions, even though she was caught up in that wreck. Finishes 23rd. Blake Freeman, 24th. AJ Scarborough caught up in a bad one, and man, sat on pit road a lot and was many laps down, like 121 laps down. He finishes in 25th. Jay Adair, 26th. Chuck Harrell, 27th. Michael Guidry in 28th, Andrew Ackerman 29th, and Mark Bratcher 30th. Michael Kinner finishing dead last on the field in 31st position. So again, congratulations here to our winner, Nathan Miller, subbing tonight. for Luis. So congratulations to him. And thanks for tuning in here tonight, folks, and watching ECR. Thanks for watching on MaxSpeedTV. And we will be back tomorrow night for another broadcast. So tune in. We will be on the live iRacing portal tomorrow night. So watch for that at the top of iRacing. Until then, folks, stay safe and have a good night.